Let me ask you this, Jason.
Ask me, Mark.
By the way, welcome to Real Inside Sales Talk, episode 19 with Mark and Jason. Find us online at facebook.com/ISA Talk and find us at www.realinsidesalestalk.com. This episode is brought to you by Vulcan 7, vulcan7.com/realisa talk. Find Vulcan 7 for all your expired, for sale by owner, and neighborhood prospecting needs. vulcan7.com/realisa talk.
And check out our website at realinsidesalestalk/vulcan-7.com. You can find a video by Mark there telling you all about the benefits of Vulcan 7. That's at realinsidesalestalk.com/vulcan-7.
Jason, so happy you said that. Jason, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm wonderful, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a while. We've been busy.
Yes, yeah, we have been busy. It's been a busy week. You've had a lot going on over the last weekend and everything. I've had a lot going on. It's how life goes sometimes, doesn't it?
When you're hustling and you're grinding, there's just things you got to deal with.
Right.
You've got to make time for the right things, and right now we had to make time for our paychecks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we talk about, making money.
Oh yeah,
and a positive affirmation, making more money.
Well, and it's also sometimes things come up that don't directly have to do with your business, but that's the one good thing about being well-rounded in your sales mindset and outlook is you're able to handle all of those different challenges that come up unexpectedly. Mm-hmm. You just, whether it's family, whether it's, relationships, whether it's, the neighbor across the street not mowing their yard, every week and the lawn's getting high, or traffic, or standing too long a line in the grocery store and there's only one cashier. Not all those little things in life, difficulties in life, hey, it could be worse. Could be out there not making money, could be starving, but you're making money. We expect everybody making money. Closing deals, making sales, setting appointments, talking to people, getting that income going no matter what it is and what you do in life. Whatever it is you're trying to do to improve your sales, your negotiation skills, your ability to engage your employees, manage your employees, your ability to be able to motivate people. Mark, that's one thing I want to talk about today, Mark, is putting intent into action.
Yeah, when you don't want to do something and you just have to do it. I mean, we all hear the stories of the single mom or the single dad that has, kids that they have to provide for, so they have to go out and work 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs. It's just part of being a human being. That's a survival instinct.
Well, and getting up and getting around and actually doing the drudgery. I say drudgery. That's not the right word for it, Mark. I'm just saying if you're doing the actions, taking the steps necessary.
And are you learning from what you're doing? Are you changing what you do? Are you changing your routine? Are you seeing yourself develop patterns, and are you taking risks by changing your patterns?
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've found myself in like a loop, and then I realized, I've created a pattern. Let's try changing some stuff up and see if I can get better results now because it's a different time period.
It's just like if you introduce yourself in a different way.
Yeah. Jason, we have a few things we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, Mark. What are we going to talk about? Start us off, man.
Why do people buy the same products over and over again every year for more money? Like Apple iPhones, Samsung products, it's the same software, just a different app.
That's a great question, Mark.
Is it the battery life? The bigger screen?
Right.
Why are they consistently buying the same product when they don't need it?
Well, that's a great question. A lot of great people have studied exactly why.
And also, let's say you're on the sales side of it. Let's say you come out with the next big thing for 2019.
Okay.
All right. Well, what about 2020? Because if you don't produce in 2020, you're fired. So how do you keep topping what you do over and over again? Or do you manage your success by not trying to top yourself, but just recreate what has worked?
Right. Well, I would say a lot of that goes back to, let's address the first thing, is why do they come out with these new upgrades every year after year after year? Well, part of it's product recognition and customer loyalty. Speaking from me personally, I'm a big Mac fan. I love Macs. I'm not the compulsive shopper. I've still got an iPhone 7 and, I don't buy the latest stuff from them, but they're very good products. They're very dependable and they meet my needs. Okay. It's like, in the 90s, remember the Saturn Automotive Company?
Yeah.
Well, I was a very loyal Saturn customer because I was very satisfied with their product, even though they would roll out a new edition. I didn't always buy the new edition necessarily, but I was very loyal to their product. So there's a segment out there. There's a segment of customer out there, and you can tap into this. This is the great thing. Tap into this, and this is going to make you so much more money. Is if you provide a great customer experience, especially salespersons, you provide a great customer experience. You provide a great interaction with somebody. They are always, no matter how many times you roll out, even though you sold them a home a year ago, there's a great new home on the market that maybe they're interested in. Or there's a great new car on the market that just came out they're maybe interested in.
Okay, well, let's look at the flip side. Like, it's Black Friday. Samsung and Apple just dropped their phones.
Okay.
They don't need a salesperson. These people are waiting in line, cash.
Oh, yeah.
It's just some person writing out orders, processing it, and going. There's no sales involved. Like, the sales is just there.
Right.
How do you recreate that for every product?
Well, they build excitement about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, just like the fact that they've got brand loyalty in the first place, and then they also are going to get people excited about something. So you get those people, you get your client excited about what you've got to deliver to them, and they identify also, psychologically or whatever. It's like the Star Wars franchise. I mean, they've been able to over all of these years, been able to create a brand that's people have a high dedication to, and then even if they roll out a product that's not as superior, people are still excited about it. People still want it. They create hype. They create excitement, urgency.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you say brand loyalty and excitement.
Okay. Yep.
So to create a successful sales company, let's say what's something that you'd like to sell? Let's just hypothetically here. Would you sell an everyday product, or would you sell an everyday product like a cell phone where you use it every day, or would you sell a product that you use like come Thanksgiving, like the turkey fryer, or would you sell the Valentine's Day chocolates?
Right.
So what's something that you would sell, and how would you create the brand loyalty, and how would you generate the?
What I'm doing, I'm working with this company that's grown an awful lot over a couple of years. Okay, this company at the same time does have a loyal customer branch. I mean, they've got loyal customers. Okay, this company's been around since the mid '90s, so I think like 20 years, let's say. What they've been able to do is, and they've got some customers that have been with them ever since their origin. And what they've also done is they've grown tremendously over the last few years. Okay, so what they've taken when you talk about brand loyalty and retention is the fact that these customers that they have been so satisfied with their service that each year when they renew that contract, their sales experience that they have to give them, isn't a high pressure sales. It's more about, hey, we completed this this year going forward, here's our plan. Does it align with what your goals are? Or we know what your plan is and what you would like to upgrade over this year. Here's how we can help you. Here's what the cost is going to be. Here, let's start scheduling it this way. So they develop a pretty good relationship with the client in the first place. Now, as far as growing it even more, that's the one thing where I'm coming in and helping them with being able to not only retain their clients, but generate more business from their clients, because they have a lot of satisfied clients that they're underutilizing by not saying, hey, let me get a video referral of you here real quick. Let me get a videotape testimony of you real quick about our business. Let me get, can you say this on our Facebook page? Will you say this? Will you take a picture with us? Can we promote this? Can we promote that, XYZ company utilizes ABC services, and has done so for 15 years. So you start getting customer loyalty, and then your brand eventually starts getting out there enough. Okay. So if you've got a unique logo, a unique style, a unique kind of industry that you're into, a unique pitch. I mean, that was the thing about like Justice Jeweler, or Coke when they did I'd like to teach the world to sing. I mean, it created kind of a friendly, sort of comfortable feeling about something, and it also played on different emotions to get you to purchase, that product. And that's our emphasis, is knowing that, okay, this is what my client wants, this is what my client needs, and here's what I can do to utilize from the client to be able to generate myself more business, which is a lot of referrals. Again, getting the testimony down and then getting those systems in place so that your employees are continually delivering that sort of satisfaction. Because that's the other thing. I mean, you can go into a store, if it's even an Apple store, you get crappy service. you're not going to buy it from the store. Even though you like Apple products, then you'll say, screw it, I'll buy it online.
And Apple would prefer that you bought it from their store, correct?
Well, it depends. I don't know really Apple's marketing strategy.
See, that's the thing. Is like, do they really even care?
Do they really
if their
even care?
product's going to sell?
They would, I think, would rather have. I mean, that's the thing. Why you haven't seen a lot of Mac stores and Apple stores and them putting money into it, because they make more money online. I mean, they know people are just going to buy it here. Yeah, you might go to now. That's why they partnered initially with just AT&T before they went to like Verizon and everything with the iPhone.
Yes, please. You talked about like having to build a good client relationship with referrals and creating comfort and uniting people,
right?
Like you did with the Coke logo. How do you plan on doing that with what exists now? And do you need something like an inside sales agent to call monthly and check in with everyone?
Right. Well, this particular job, they don't necessarily need. Well, they do need a salesperson. At least I would call it like a client outreach person.
Client relations,
client relations. Yeah, well, customer
Here
service.
to help.
Even. Yeah, somebody that's actually actively trying to recruit new business for them, and that's all that they do. I mean, they kind of have that, but it's not really a focus of theirs necessarily, because you, as a business, depending on how fast you grow, there are certain problems you can overcome, but there are certain problems you're just going to have. So it's like a topic we'll get into later, avoiding different traps. One thing that you don't want to, especially if you get successful over a period of a couple of years, is not have systems that are in place and people in place to implement those systems. Because if you're an organization that all of a sudden overnight grew from 6 employees up to 75, there's going to be a lot of changes going on there. I mean, that's a huge infrastructure you're going to have.
That's a lot of capital you're going to be spending.
Yeah, and I mean, not only, just having to manage the payroll for it. You've got 76 personnel. You've got 76 different problems. Are they all trained the same way? Do they all understand what the goal is, what the objective is?
Are they all reliable?
Are they all reliable? Can they do their job? Are they capable? You're going to lose some of those 75 as you get to that 75.
Yeah.
Say you grow all of a sudden even from 6 to 30 employees.
Do they fit our image?
So you've got to have a system in place to avoid falling into something like, okay, we've grown so fast, there's no way we can manage this because it's out of control.
And and I just want to say, like, let's say you're in one of those businesses. Let's say you get in late. Let's say they have their core 6 people, and you're number 30 or number 75. How are you going to penetrate that core?
Well,
or like, are you able to create a way to make that core grow?
Right.
And a lot of people go into an interview and they're nervous and like, well, I'm good at this and this is my numbers. Well, the best way to win an interview is just by making a friend.
Well, here's the thing about working on teams that grow too fast. Sometimes the people in charge have no idea what they're doing really, and they're just growing for growth's sakes.
Oh yes.
They'll go through the playbook of, okay, I get to this point, I do this. I get to this point, I do this. But they also don't have the experience to know that, look.
Or they get a tax credit because they hire and fire so many every year.
Right.
So it's just part of the job.
And then they'll hire the wrong people for the wrong position, or they won't actually have a plan on paper. That's why it is critical for all businesses. If you're wanting to grow and expand and be super successful, you've got to have a plan on paper.
You got to meet with people, like, not just at work, but you need to meet with them outside of work too. You need to be like, look, I'm not saying you guys need to be best friends, but you need to realize what's going on in their life that can affect them at work.
Well, and
also, you're going to be around them more than you're around your wife or your kids. You're building a family here, so you really need to take the extra time and figure out, is this person going to blend in?
Well, and that's the first thing, is you've got to have a good system in place for that person to feel comfortable, because then they're not going to want necessarily, let's go hang out with the boss. If you're already engaged and you've got good people around you that set that example of, okay, here's what we need to do, here's what's going on, instead of the main boss sitting back in their office with their door shut all the time and then leaves at 5 and only he shows up maybe during the weekly meetings, maybe, and then they've got people under them that don't really know exactly what they're doing. They're just there kind of by default because they were friends with this person when they got successful. So unless you're really sitting down thinking through what your strategy is, that's why you see a lot of team leaders that grow pretty good businesses. team leads that grow pretty good businesses end up like fizzling out because they don't have a broad-based plan. Yeah, they can get people motivated, they can get to a certain point. But once they reach that point, dude, they have the wrong people in place.
Yeah, and you have to continually train. And if the people aren't willing to do what you're telling them to do, you need to be okay to cut your ties and be like, now hiring.
That's right. And even though you like somebody,
it's like nothing personal, but it's business, and this business is like my livelihood. And right now, you're not helping me grow at the pace that I need to grow.
right? Because the great product you were talking about, how Apple can each year continuously sell new products and people buy them. I've always been wondering about that too, because like I see people upgrading a car every year.
And that leads me to our next topic. You know, falling into traps. Let's say you're so focused on the big picture, but let's say you find something that works, and then you do it for 3 months, and then the results change, but you forget to change your processes. You've fallen into a trap.
Yep.
You have to be okay with changing your processes and trying different things, and just sitting back and watching. But at the same time, you have to look at your ROI. What are you spending? What are you spending that money on? What's the conversion rate? Do we have enough data to even form a good opinion?
Right.
When it comes to me, I look at least 2 years of forecast data.
Right.
And
well, you have to.
When it comes to real estate, there's that 5 to 7 year model where something's going to happen every 5 to 7 years. It's either going to be a seller's market or a buyer's market.
Right.
It's either going to tank or it's going to be incredible. So when it comes to real estate, you only have about 5 to 7 years to make your money, and then you got to do something else to make your money.
All right. Well, and to know your market, because real estate markets are so different. I mean, you can. Secondary home markets are different than primary home markets.
A hurricane could hit, an earthquake could hit, any Mother Nature could hit and change everything overnight.
Right. Yeah, because you got your license for Carolina, didn't you? Gonna go there and sell some houses?
Yeah, I would hate to have to deal with that.
Mark was on the phone the day after that hurricane hit.
Yeah. Do you want to sell your house while the market's hot?
That's right.
We got investors buying shit up right now.
That's right. I got people in cashing in right now.
Insurance companies are writing checks. You want to get in on this?
Well, regardless, I mean, if you're
focusing on your pain,
right? Exactly. And
ISAs are making a lot of money.
Yeah,
and that's bad. I mean, like even at Hotels.com, like people would have to overpay for hotel rooms, and it's just like, man, these people are paying $800 or $1,000 a night just for a hotel room. But I mean,
right. Well, crisis presents opportunity, as we talked about in an earlier episode. Is the fact that that's the whole point of the market coming in and saving the day. Yeah, you may be tired of living in a floodplain, and I know somebody will pay me cash money right now for my house. I don't have to fool with insurance. Sign me up. I'm moving 100 miles on the other direction.
I'm sick of hurricanes. I'm moving to Branson, Missouri, or Springfield, Missouri, or Kansas City. Okay, great.
We want to avoid falling into those traps. We want you to avoid falling in the trap impulsively thinking, okay, this person's right for this job, or impulsively thinking this tool is right for what we've got to do without feedback.
Or the process.
The process.
Yeah, it's okay to and there's a difference too. Don't change your process so much that it's like I'm only changing my process so I can change my process and be fresh and new.
Right.
Well, sometimes you have to wait for the lab experiment to happen.
Exactly. You have to try things out.
And that's a battle I'm having right now. It's like, okay, so you'd rather cut off $7,000 in leads over here and invest the $7,000 over here. Well, what are we going to do about this? This is what works in the past. Don't you think it would be wise to do this rather than take a big gamble and do this?
Well, isn't it disappointing when leadership like that doesn't involve the people that actually do it on a day-to-day basis to some extent?
Yeah, they're like, here's how it's going to be done. If you don't like it, tough shit. This is why we pay lower management people to handle this. That's really what it is. There's one guy that goes, okay, this is what we're going to do. I don't care how much fussing and arguing is going to cause. I hired you to promote this and do this, and either you're going to do it or you're going to get replaced.
Right.
So what's it going to be?
What's it going to be? And that's exactly right. Mark, you make a great point for everybody out there that finds himself in a position like that.
Yeah.
Because that's, again, why you have to be able to synergize what you're passionate about and what you also have to do to learn your job and to get ahead in life. Sometimes there's things that we don't necessarily want to do, but hey, it pays the bills right now, and my goal in life is to do X, Y, Z. So here's where we're going to segue into our next topic, Mark.
Okay.
I want to talk just very briefly here about putting intent into action. And what I mean by putting intent into action is you're frustrated with your job, or you're frustrated with, I'm working, 5 jobs and I'm still not making money, and I'm working, I'm doing this, sacrificing time with my, wife, girlfriend, kids, whatever. So I would really like to be able to, adjust my hours. I'd really like to be able to work less. I'd really like to be, there's all these list of likes that you like to do. What we're going to talk about is how you can take all those likes, the intent of things that you would like to do, and let's put them into action of you actually doing them. So let's say you're frustrated by the fact that, okay, maybe you're not entirely satisfied with your current job. You're working in a regular day job. You go in, clock out at a certain time. You don't have any voice. You feel you're not heard. You feel you have no control, and you've got this itch.
Your
Scratching.
number.
Yeah, you got this itch that's, you just need to scratch of like, I could do this instead of this. I could be doing XYZ instead of this. Or I understand that I have a good relationship with this person at work. What if I was able to talk to them about introducing this new strategy or talking about something that doesn't work? Because then you're taking all this negative energy that you have, all these things that you don't like, channeling them into something positive, which is action behind doing what you're intending to do, doing the goal where you'd like to have more time with your family or something. And you're saying, look, if we introduce this process, it's going to save me a boatload of time. So that means I get more time with my kids. Intent into action, Mark. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I wish you'd pick up the
happen.
fucking phone.
Right. Or
Yeah.
I wish you'd get off your ass and, do XYZ on the job that you're doing. I wish you'd take more time here when you're spending on this project. I wish you would slow down and make sure that you get XYZ taken care of on this task.
By the way, let's take a look at your browsing history.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, can you cut this out, cut this out, cut this out, cut this
Right.
out, and focus on actually working while you're here?
Exactly. And that's just the thing is they want all these things, but they're not willing to do the work for them. So they're...
And that's another thing, too. If you run a business, all of your computers need to have locks.
Yeah.
Like, associates can only go to certain websites.
Certain
That
times.
is it.
Yeah.
Lock their phone up in a locker and put restrictions on your websites because you'll get more productivity done.
Well, and that's a great point you make, because as a team, you've got to be able to control that. You've got to know, there needs to be one social media person on my team. And that one person, especially up to a certain point, then you can expand. But all that needs to be controlled by one person. So that way, individually, Mark, you don't have to go on Facebook and make a bunch of Facebook posts and then get distracted.
Well, I can keep people off of Facebook too.
Yeah.
Like when I worked at Expedia, we could only access like 12 websites, and they were all work related. And like we went through a server, through another server to make sure that we could not get anything. Like everyone tried to bypass it.
Right.
Was not happening.
Right.
So what happens is your productivity increases because you're focused on what you see daily.
Right.
What you focus on expands.
Right, and that's, you want to turn intent into action. Now, people like Warren Buffett, Dave Ramsey, Gary Keller, those people are all focused on purposeful actions. So they had run into times where, I'd like to, check the news. Okay, it's a pretty broad term, but I'd like to check the news or find out what the kids are doing, or see what's on, this website or whatever. And that can draw you in. Even if you're just saying, hey, I'm just going to take a second, that still draws you in. So you've got to get into a routine of what you're doing from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. or whatever your set schedule is for working. Block everything out that has nothing to do with what you need to accomplish, with the actions that you need to happen. So that means if you need to block off Facebook, all your social media, and say, look, boss, you need to handle this social media posting stuff because I can't do it, because it's a distraction for me, and I want to be able to set appointments and close deals. So you even have to maybe take that proactive approach and say, look, I've got to be able to do this. You are sitting here and you've got all of this stuff going on, and I personally don't want to see that. I don't think our team needs this distraction. Can we get some sort of filter in here that eliminates that distraction from us?
Absolutely. And by the way, can you not put all the work on me? Can you actually help? Like, I know you pay me to do a job, but I still need help.
Well, and here's where the intent goes into action in that regard, is if you feel like you're at work, you're doing everything. You're doing everything. If you feel like you're doing everything, then think about how you can do this on your own. Start an exit strategy of some sort.
What would I do better?
What would I do better? What would I do different? How could I
Analyze
do
your
it?
surroundings.
Right. And what do you have a passion about that you don't see that your boss has? Because if you have an angle maybe that you don't see that your boss has, that's why I recommend everybody, especially when you're writing emails or something like that to people or talking to people, try to be different. Try to think of the opposite of what somebody typical would do who's just regurgitating the latest Zig Ziglar book that they read. Just like you talking to me about, hey, instead of saying, hi, my name is, you'd say, where did you get that shirt? You know, or you've got great taste in, you know, shoes. You know, or I love the Jordans that you're wearing. You know, or that's the coolest hat. Where did you get that hat? You know, so you start engaging people in a different way instead of just the same old sales crap that, you know, hi, my name is Jason. How are you today, sir? Are you the king of the castle? I mean, that's just horrible, you know? So make your actions purposeful and actually take seriously what you're doing as far as those actions where you got to say, look, this isn't good for me being productive. This is good for me being productive. That's what I need to do. I need to not go into the break room and have, you know, the 2 donuts and a bagel and then go start my calls. I'd rather do all my calls first. And then, okay, yeah, go
treat yourself. Like, hey, if I get this done, I get to do it that much quicker.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
a great goal to set for yourself.
Okay, yeah, I really want that coffee, or I really want to go do this, this, or this. But I tell you what, the quicker I do this, the sooner I'm going to treat myself.
Well, you remember in the movie with Will Smith, Opportunity Knocks?
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. Thank you. Pursuit of Happiness. When he was going through his day, that was the reason he said he didn't drink water, because that meant he'd have to go to the bathroom. And he didn't want to go to the bathroom because he wanted to make phone calls. So, I mean, if you're willing to sacrifice that much where you're not drinking, you know, not the healthiest thing to do necessarily, but, you know, if you're that committed to being successful, you will eliminate these things that you know aren't allowing you to be productive. You know, so you will say, okay, I'm not drinking water. I'm not going to the water cooler. I'm not going to the break room. People may think it's snobbish, but actually you're setting a good example in there of calling people in and doing the actions necessary to, one, get you out of the position that you don't want to be in, but then get you to the things that you actually want to do.
Right.
You know, whether it's more time with kids, whether it's, you know, more time, you know, being able to go to the lake and fish, intent into action. All of the great ones have done it. Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, all of them, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates.
Of affirmations.
That's just it. So reinforce that and not be around people who don't support you with that, who are not into that, doing that with you. If you find yourself in a position where you're working for a company where you are frustrated, it's like, man, I'm doing all this work and I'm not getting any money. Nobody listens to me. I've tried to assert myself, come up with a plan. You know, come up with a plan. You know, present it to the boss. If they don't listen to you, okay, do it one more time, present it again. You know, give them an opportunity. And then if they don't pursue that opportunity, you can know that they're not serious about doing things. Because, yeah, bosses get busy, companies get busy, depending on how big they are. It can take a while for a decision to be made. But if they're not listening to you, not communicating with you, not creating a culture of ideas and improvement, you might as well go somewhere else. That's my advice. So, Mark, you know, you've got to be able to see yourself taking these actions, you know, and it's the one thing where no matter what it is you want to do in life, close more deals, make more money, you know, whatever it is, it requires action for you to doing that and concerted effort. And so eliminate every possible distraction, everything that you know, all those indulgences. I mean, we all have them. I'm guilty of indulging myself. I'm guilty of, you know, watching football or whatever, or, you know, watching some show when I know I should be out here doing this, you know.
They call it squirrels. They're like, squirrel!
Yeah.
Squirrel!
Yeah, there's a squirrel there. Yeah. We're great at procrastinating.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you start changing your mindset and thinking, okay, how is this going to help? Is this a productive use of my time in the sense I'm going to make some money from doing this? I could utilize this hour doing this. You know, and I know I've got to, okay, take the kids out to dinner tonight, or it's date night, or, you know, we're going to the river this weekend, so let me make sure that these next 3 days, everything I do, you know, is an investment in that time that I'm spending, you know, enjoying life, because I've invested that time beforehand. I've made it pay off. Then I can sit back and enjoy that. And the more you do that, you're going to have way more time to do those things that you love to do. So purposeful actions, think about it every day, even if you've got to write down, okay, for, you know, 10 minutes I'm doing this, 15 minutes I'm doing this. And it takes practice. You're not going to do it overnight. You've got to, even if you start 5 minutes a day, removing, okay, hanging out at the, you know, coffee shop, or stopping by, you know, whoever's desk and chit-chatting, you know, or engaging in just kind of, you know, pointless office gossip. You know.
Stop checking social media when you wake up.
Exactly. Oh, that's the first thing, man.
That's, a lot of people wake up, first thing they do is pick up their phone, lay in bed, and open up Facebook or the news.
I'm a half an hour.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Like, set a time for it. Like, okay, I'm not going to do anything until 10:30.
Yeah. I will, my routine, Mark, when I wake up is I check my phone to make sure there's no priority phone calls. Okay. Nothing a priority. Okay. As long as that's something, I set the phone down. Okay. I go about my business wake up, get my morning going, get everything going. About a half an hour, 45 minutes.
Create that time for you.
Right. You get in the right frame of mind. You don't get reactive. You don't get, hostile to something. You don't take something the wrong way. Then you're at a frame of mind where, you can sit down and process, X, Y, Z coming in. And then I don't necessarily even check on a personal level the social media pages until much later in my day, because I know in the morning I've already got enough responses via text message, and enough responsibilities already there that distracts enough from my time.
Yeah.
And then I have my social media time.
Yeah, like the best advice I have is wake up an hour and a half before you have to get to work. Spend 30 minutes like eating a bowl of cereal or just cooking yourself something nice.
Right.
Don't be in a rush, don't touch your phone until you have to.
Yeah.
And then when you go to work, do everything you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your phone when you need to, but don't go to social media or anything like that related until at least your first break.
Yeah, don't respond to any emails, just wait till you're in business mode and then handle your business.
Yeah, I've never lost a deal by doing that.
And you won't. And that's just the thing is focusing each day. Have a plan each day, have a calendar each day, know what you want to do when you get out of bed each day. Put that intent. If you're intending to make, 25 contacts that day, that's what you're intending to do. Go out. What are the actions it's going to take to do that? You're intending to close 5 deals that day. What's it going to take for you to close those 5 deals? The actual action steps that go into matching up those intentions with the goals that you want to achieve.
Yeah, and also believing in your skills. Are you capable of converting what needs to be done? If yes, then great, you got nothing to worry about. If not, you need to work on your game and be okay with feedback and criticism.
Exactly.
Ask people that are better than you for advice.
Right.
Sit by them. Listen to them. Listen to the recordings.
Be a sponge.
Say, hey, you're obviously doing something right, and
I want to know more.
I'm going to throw my...
Yeah, I want to know more.
I want to know more, and I'm going to throw my respect at the window and just absolutely.
Appreciate everybody out there listening to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. Find us at realinsidesalestalk.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ISA Talk.
Look for us at vulcan7.com/realisatalk. Look for us at www.realinsidesalestalk.com. Sign up for coaching with Mark and Jason, and you will have a great time. I guarantee it.
That's at realinsidesalestalk.com/subscribe.